Yet, another weapon made its debut on battlefield in 1991, depleted uranium.
During Desert Storm, a lot of depleted uranium bullets have been used. Why?
Depleted uranium and what they call non-depleted uranium both have a similar enough signature that one could be mistaken for the other. The use of one could be mistaken for the other. Also, with depleted uranium, the immediate effects of something like that on individuals inside of vehicles, tanks, buildings, things of that nature, will mimic what you get with a larger nuclear blast, such as desiccation of the body, death, immediate, and further down the road, bleeding of the eyes, nose. The radiation pulse that's released by the use of smaller depleted uranium projectiles is still present, but if it's used repeatedly, such as with the GAU-8 that the A-10 aircraft uses, one bullet hitting one after the other is going to cause a higher impact radiologically. Not just the leftover debris, but also the immediate radiation burst that's released by the impact and it flashing into flame.
It can help to cover up.
Yes. It can mask pretty much anything in that area.
If veteran Jim Brown's report held true, what event could have persuaded the U.S. administration to use a mini nuke precisely on the last day of the war? One can only make an assumption. 2 days before the possible decision to deliver a nuclear bomb, February 25th, a Scud missile launched by the Iraqis hit a U.S. base in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia, killing 28 U.S. troops and injuring 99. That caused a strong reaction from the U.S. In the night between February 26th and February 27th, an entire vehicle column was destroyed just over the border with Kuwait. Maybe that was not the only retaliation action. It is a hasty assumption, but the U.S. administration's policy in 1991 was deliberately ambiguous.
Are there any witnesses?
There are some witnesses. I personally have spoken with individuals that were there during the time frame that this occurred. I know of other people that have talked to other people. I know that sounds weird, but that's the way the intelligence community works. You hear something from an individual, you verify it through others, eventually you flesh out the entire detail and you get the full story. Where governments are concerned, no government would ever want to admit to doing something of this nature.
How did you know about it?
The organization that I put together since 1991, known as Gulf Watch INS, we have been trying for a long time to get this information together and put it out into the public so that we can stop this from happening again. Because I guarantee you, if they got away with it in 1991, they got away with it in 2002, they will continue to get away with it as long as they are allowed to. This has to stop.
Before airing this interview, we notified the U.S. Defense Department that a U.S. Army veteran told us that a mini nuke had been used during Desert Storm. We were asked for clarifications on the exact day when that supposedly took place, and we were sent the following statement.
Only conventional munitions were used during the Gulf War in 1991. The U.S. maintains a number of munitions that have an explosive capability of 5,000 pounds and larger. It is not possible for us to confirm the exact incident that you are referring to, but if a larger bomb was dropped in that location, it is reasonable to assume that the detonation would register on seismological detection equipment. Again, only conventional munitions were used during the 1991 Gulf War.
In a following letter, the Defense Department informed us that the BLU-82 bomb could have been used. The device has an explosive capability of approximately 7,000 tons, and they reiterated that only conventional weapons were used. The BLU-82 bomb, also called Mother of All Bombs or Daisy Cutter, through the explosion of a mixture of oxygen, hydrogen, and other elements in the air, not underground, produces approximately magnitude 3 on the Richter scale, and not 4.2 as it appears from the seismic data.
These were also used in the same time frame as the FAE, or fuel air explosive bombs, also known as the MOAB, mother of all bombs. The big difference between these two is the MOAB, or the fuel air or FAE bomb, will give you the effect of a nuclear bomb. It can even cause a mushroom cloud, that sort of thing. But the residual radiation is not there. Where a nuclear warhead is concerned, when it detonates, you not only get the effect, but you also get the residual radiation. You also get fallout. This is something that doesn't just happen and then go away. This is something that happens and stays and stays.
To date, Jim Brown's account is as chilling as it is devoid of any element confirming its truthfulness. Brown's view that the use of depleted uranium might have covered a nuclear bomb's explosion remains a mere assumption, which, however, we duly report as we follow the principle of precaution. Whenever any assumption, which is not obviously false, bears such a dramatic social relevance, it is much better to talk about it rather than just wait and see. Indeed, many people and too many children were taken ill after a desert storm in the area around Basra. We managed to contact Dr. Jawad Al-Ali, director of the Oncology Center at the hospital in Basra, during a conference in Istanbul. Al-Ali conducted a number of studies on radioactivity in Basra.
The story of radiation in Basra started during the war, the first Gulf War in 1991, where about 300 tons of depleted uranium dropped at the western part of Basra, which led to increased level of radiation many times if it is compared to the background level in Basra, which is nearly zero. In 1991, the attack was more aggressive because they destroyed all the infrastructure of Iraq completely. And so we couldn't at that time travel from Basra to Baghdad. The problem is repeated again in 2003, and in this time many hundreds of tons of depleted uranium dropped on the cities, on the civilian, and this problem is creating another problem, which is the increase in the cancer rates, increase in the congenital malformations. As you know, the half-life of depleted uranium is 4.5 billion of years. So the problem is something to kill the people of Iraq by putting a poison in their soil for billions of years.